In the dawn of time, in a place where the sun always shone and the air was sweet with the scent of blooming flowers, there existed a paradise called the Garden of Eden. This lush garden was filled with every kind of tree that was pleasing to the eye and good for food. Among the trees, two stood out in the center, the tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. God placed the first man, Adam, in this garden. Adam was a magnificent being, created in the image of God, with strong, defined features and a vitality that mirrored the vibrancy of Eden itself. His task was to tend and keep the garden, a duty he embraced with joy. Yet God saw that it was not good for Adam to be alone, caused Adam to fall into a deep sleep, and from one of his ribs he created a woman. When Adam awoke and saw her, his heart was filled with joy. He called her Eve, recognizing her as bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. Eve, with her graceful beauty and flowing hair, completed Adam, and together they lived in perfect harmony, not just with each other, but with all of creation. One day, as Eve wandered near the center of the garden, she encountered a serpent, a creature more cunning than any other. The serpent, with its sly eyes and smooth words, approached Eve and asked, "Did God really say, 'You must not eat from any tree in the garden'?" Eve replied, "We may eat fruit from the trees in the garden, but God did say, 'You must not eat fruit from the tree that is in the middle of the garden, and you must not touch it, or you will die.'" The serpent hissed softly, "You will not surely die, for God knows that when you eat from it, your eyes will be opened and you will be like God, knowing good and evil." Eve looked at the tree and saw that its fruit was good for food and pleasing to the eye, and also desirable for gaining wisdom. With a mixture of curiosity and desire, she reached out, plucked a fruit, and took a bite. Its taste was sweet and alluring. She then gave some to Adam, who was with her, and he too ate it. As soon as they ate the fruit, a profound change came over them. Their eyes were opened, and they realized they were naked. Overcome with shame, they quickly sewed fig leaves together to cover themselves. The innocence they once enjoyed was shattered. In the cool of the day, they heard the sound of the Lord God walking in the garden. Terrified, they hid among the trees. God called out, "Adam, where are you?" Adam replied, "I heard you in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, so I hid." God asked, "Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten from the tree that I commanded you not to eat from?" Adam, with a sense of guilt, said, "The woman you put here with me, she gave me some fruit from the tree, and I ate it." God turned to Eve and asked, "What is this you have done?" Eve, equally guilty, replied, "The serpent deceived me, and I ate." God's voice resonated with sorrow and authority as he pronounced judgment. To the serpent he said, "Because you have done this, cursed are you above all livestock and all wild animals. You will crawl on your belly and eat dust all the days of your life. And I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and hers. He will crush your head, and you will strike his heel." To Eve he said, "I will make your pains in childbearing very severe. With painful labor you will give birth to children. Your desire will be for your husband, and he will rule over you." To Adam, God said, "Because you listened to your wife and ate fruit from the tree about which I commanded you, you must not eat from it. Cursed is the ground because of you. Through painful toil you will eat food from it all the days of your life. It will produce thorns and thistles for you, and you will eat the plants of the field. By the sweat of your brow you will eat your food until you return to the ground, since from it you were taken. For dust you are, and to dust you will return." God made garments of skin for Adam and Eve and clothed them, a sign of his continued care despite their disobedience. Then he said, "The man has now become like one of us, knowing good and evil. He must not be allowed to reach out his hand and take also from the tree of life and eat and live forever." So God banished them from the Garden of Eden to work the ground from which Adam had been taken. He placed cherubim and a flaming sword flashing back and forth to guard the way to the tree of life. Adam and Eve left the garden, their hearts heavy with sorrow and regret. But even in their exile, they held on to the promise that one day, redemption would come. And so began the story of humanity, a tale of love, temptation, and the hope for a future restoration. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe for more animated Bible stories.